Let me ask you something. You've probably heard the advice: save more, spend less, invest early. Maybe you've even tried it. You opened a savings account, you cut back on coffee, you downloaded a budgeting app and actually used it for 2 weeks. And yet, something still feels off. Like you're doing the right things, but the money never seems to actually grow. Like you're running on a treadmill that looks like progress, but never actually takes you anywhere. Here's what nobody tells you. Most people only ever operate on one level of money. And that one level, no matter how hard you work it, has a ceiling. A hard, invisible ceiling that you keep bumping your head against and can't figure out why. The people who actually build wealth, they're playing on 3 levels at the same time. And once you see the 3 levels, you cannot unsee them. You'll look at your own finances completely differently. You'll look at other people's finances differently. And more importantly, you'll finally understand why working harder at the wrong level never moves the needle. Let's break it down. Here's the story most of us grew up with. You go to school, you get a job, you get paid. You spend some, save a little, maybe invest if you feel fancy. Repeat until retirement. That's the plan, right? The problem is that plan was designed for a different era. An era where one income could buy a house, raise a family, and retire comfortably. That era is gone, but the advice stuck around. So here we are, an entire generation of people doing everything they were told, working hard, saving diligently, and still wondering why wealth feels like something that happens to other people. And the sneaky part is, it's not a willpower problem. It's not even an income problem for most people. It's a structural problem. Think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to fill a bathtub. You've got the tap running, but there are 2 drains open at the bottom. You keep adding water, the water level barely moves. You try harder, you turn the tap up more, still barely moves. Most financial advice tells you to turn the tap up more, work more, earn more, side hustle harder. But nobody asks, why are the drains open? The 3-level money system is about understanding what the drains are, what the tap actually represents, and, more importantly, how to build a 2nd and 3rd tap that runs even when you're sleeping. Okay, let's get into the 3 levels. Level 1 is earned income. This is where almost everyone lives their entire financial life. Earned income is the money you make by trading your time for money. Your salary, your hourly wage, your freelance projects, your side hustle where you are personally doing the work. Earned income is not bad. It's actually essential. You need it to get started. But here's the problem with living entirely on level 1. It's capped by time. You only have 24 hours in a day. Even if you charge more per hour, even if you get a raise, even if you work every waking moment, there is a ceiling. A hard, physical ceiling made of hours. And here's the psychological trap that level 1 sets for you. The more you earn at level 1, the more comfortable it feels, and the less urgency you feel to ever move beyond it. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. As your income grows, your lifestyle tends to grow with it. Nicer apartment, better car, fancier dinners, and suddenly you need more level 1 income just to maintain the life you've built on level 1 income. It's a loop, a very comfortable, very expensive loop. Most people stay here forever, not because they're lazy, but because nobody showed them the other levels exist. Level 2 is invested income. This is where things start to shift. Invested income is money that comes from assets you've bought or built, assets that generate returns without requiring your direct time every day. Think of a stock portfolio that earns dividends, a retirement account growing with compound interest, an index fund quietly increasing in value year after year. The key difference between level 1 and level 2 is this. At level 1, you stop working, the money stops coming. At level 2, you stop working, the money keeps going. Here's a simple example. Imagine you earned $1,000 from working extra hours. That's level 1. You trade time, you get money. Done. Now imagine you invest that same $1,000 into an index fund that grows at roughly 8% per year on average.
After 1 year, you didn't touch it, you didn't think about it, and it earned you $80. $80 doesn't sound exciting, but here's where the psychology gets interesting. That $80 then earns its own return the next year, and so does the year after that. This is compound interest, and Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Whether or not he actually said that, the math doesn't lie. If you invested $500 a month starting at 25 years old and never touched it, by the time you hit 65, you'd have somewhere in the range of $1.5 to $2 million, depending on market returns. Not because you were a genius investor, just because you let level 2 do its job over time. But here's the psychological barrier that keeps people stuck at level 1 and never reaching level 2. Level 2 requires delayed gratification. It asks you to give up something real today, money you could spend, for something abstract in the future, money that doesn't feel real yet. And human brains are terrible at this trade-off. Behavioral economists call it present bias. We dramatically overvalue what we can enjoy right now versus what we might have later. The new phone feels real. The retirement account feels theoretical, so the phone wins every time for millions of people. Breaking through level 1 to level 2 isn't about being smarter with math. It's about rewiring how you think about the future. Level 3 is systemic income. Now this is the level that truly separates people who accumulate wealth from everyone else. And it's the level that sounds complicated, but is actually built on a beautifully simple idea. Systemic income is money that flows from systems you've created or own, systems that operate largely without your constant involvement. Think of a business that has employees and processes running while you sleep. Think of a piece of content, a YouTube video, a book, an online course that was created once and continues to earn indefinitely. Think of a rental property that generates monthly cash flow from a tenant paying down your mortgage. The common thread is this: you invest significant time, energy, or money once to build something, and then that thing generates income on its own logic, not your personal hours. This is why certain people seem to make money effortlessly, while others grind 60-hour weeks and barely keep up. It's not luck, it's level. Here's an analogy that might make this click. Imagine 3 farmers. The first farmer carries buckets from the river to his field every single day. He works incredibly hard, but the moment he stops carrying buckets, his field dries up. The second farmer saves up and buys a pump. Now water flows to his field more efficiently. He still maintains the pump occasionally, but he's not carrying buckets anymore. The third farmer builds a pipeline. It took longer to build. It required planning, resources, and patience. But once built, water flows to his field and to 5 other fields he owns every single day, whether he's working or asleep. Level 1 is carrying buckets. Level 2 is buying the pump. Level 3 is building the pipeline. Here's the deeper truth that this system reveals. Wealth is not actually about income, not directly. It's about which level your income is coming from and how much of it you're converting from one level to the next.
Someone earning $200,000 a year entirely from level 1, trading time for money, spending it all, is fundamentally less wealthy in the building sense than someone earning $60,000 a year who is consistently converting a portion of it into level 2 assets and slowly building level 3 systems. The first person has high income. The second person is building wealth. Those are 2 completely different things. And here's the psychological insight that ties it all together. Our culture is obsessed with level 1 signals. We celebrate hustle. We admire people who work 80-hour weeks. We show off salaries and bonuses. We judge people by their jobs. But none of that is wealth. That's just an impressive-looking bucket brigade. The quietest people in the room are often running pipelines. So what do you actually do with this?
3 things, and they're simpler than you think. First, protect a percentage of your level 1 income specifically for conversion, not for spending, for converting upward. Whether that's 10% or 20% depends on your situation, but the habit of conversion, turning earned income into invested income, is the single most important financial behavior you can build. Second, start level 2 as early as possible, even if it feels laughably small. $100 in an index fund matters less as a number and more as a signal to your brain. You are now someone who owns assets. That identity shift is more powerful than the $100. Third, pay attention to opportunities to build level 3 systems. These don't have to be massive businesses. A skill you can package, knowledge you can teach, a small property, a digital product. Systems can start tiny. What matters is the thinking, asking, how can I build something that earns without requiring my direct time every single day? The order matters. You use level 1 to fund level 2. You use level 2 momentum to eventually fund level 3. It's a ladder, not a lottery. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. The reason nobody teaches you this 3-level system is not because it's secret. It's because the entire economy runs on most people staying at level 1. Companies need workers. Retailers need consumers. Banks need people who spend everything they earn. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed, just not necessarily for you. But the beautiful thing is that the information has always been there. The wealthy have always understood that time for money is a starting point, not a destination. That assets matter more than income. That systems outlast effort. You don't need to be rich to start. You don't need to be brilliant. You need to understand which level you're operating on and whether you're building bridges to the next one. The bathtub doesn't fill when you pour harder. It fills when you close the right drains, keep the tap running, and start building a second tap that runs on its own. That's the system. 3 levels. Almost nobody teaches it. Now you know it.